Thanks for coming. Last week of the 4, to be absolutely honest, glad to see the back of it, because it is producing this much information week is killing me. This like 2 days writing per presentation is absolutely killing me. So I'm quite glad to see the back of it. Next week, you guys are going to be teaching me, for those of you who come and have the time, because what I want to do is go through the process and have you go, how do you do that, how do you do that, how do you do that, and build some exercises. So this is very much, when we were talking about it last, I was kind of thinking about it, well, for the last month, and it's very much the why, and very much the impetus and the reasons behind it, rather than the tick this box, fill this in, do this information. So what I want next week to be about is about creating all of those things we were talking about. Yeah. So if you can make it next week, I'd be very, very, very grateful. But you're here this week. Thanks for coming. Yeah, we all know me by now. This is the know, like, trust, buy system. I'm trying to think about it as a UBS, a unique branded system. So, yes, and these 3 main principles are, sorry, I'm trying to maintain a whole load of information in my head for later on. These 3 main principles are doing business on purpose. Hopefully, over the last 3 weeks, you've kind of maybe looked at your own business and thought, I have no system for doing that. Or that just kind of happens, or I'm not sure exactly how deliberate I am about this. And when you find you do things on purpose, things get less fluffy. Nice shoes though. Good lad. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So by doing things on purpose, you realise what you do actually do on purpose. And for most creatives, they do the creative bit on purpose. Everything else kind of just gets swept under the carpet, happens by accident. Usually, time for drawing. Yeah, everyone turn their phones off.
Sorry. Is that me? No, it's not. It's someone else. I've got one that makes exactly the same noise.
Oh yeah, there's a hand up.
That was surreal.
So, for business success, there's kind of three things you really need to be good at. One's the technical stuff. Pip's case, writing. Sarah's case, design. You guys' case, the making of a website, that kind of thing. So that's the technical stuff, that's the stuff you do. Yeah. Then there is the managerial stuff, which is paying your gas bill, not rocking up to meetings pissed, all of that, you know, the actual the managerial stuff. And then there's the entrepreneurial stuff that you need to do, which is finding opportunities to bring those two sets of skills to bear. Now, what most people do when they set up a business is that they set up a business because they have a technical skill. Yeah, and one of the main fallacies of business is that if I'm the best sculptor, writer, welder in the world, then my business will succeed. This is not the case. Okay? Because the technical stuff you can do in a cupboard or garage or lockup or office, and then the rest of the world doesn't even know you're there. So what you need to do is use traction generated by having good processes and reaching out to the world and kind of saying, this is what I do, here's how I help you, this is the benefit, this is the entrepreneurial stuff, that this really comes alive. However, most universities, particularly creators now, most universities train great technicians, but not great business people. Yeah? Now, one of the things that business courses do is they train great managers. They have no technical skill at producing something, and entrepreneuriality is a separate skill base, right? Entrepreneurs tend to find their way into it. Yeah, there's no entrepreneur course, so to speak. So, one of the things you must do is find the time to deliberately, that was my point, to deliberately put these 3 things in every week. Yeah? Because otherwise, we find ourselves going to the bit we feel most comfortable with. Yeah? We do, because it's like, this is the thing, is that, you know, this is your area of familiarity, and this is where the magic happens. Yeah? It's that simple. If you do what you've always done, you'll always get what you've always got.
One of the best bits of advice I was given was you have to spend time working on the business,
Not in the business. Exactly. And the same guy who did that quote formulated this model, a guy called Michael Gerber. But and what I do, my role in life is this. Helping people get traction between all three areas. So, I call it my threshold business model. Anyway, cracking on. I have so much to talk about today as well. Doing business on purpose. All marketing is conversation, because if you're not talking to anybody, and worse, if you're not listening to anybody, then you're not going to build a business. And that all business is a relationship. You can't just expect to walk up to somebody, sell them something, sling your hook. Not anymore. Because unless it's tiny little purchases, we care who we buy from. We care about how we're looked after. I've got a message on LinkedIn today from this rather beautiful woman. It's always a beautiful woman who gives you all the spec stuff going, oh hi, can we just join out? And then they start spamming the shit out of you with adverts. So I got this message from this woman saying, would you ever consider ditching Vodafone and coming to O2? No, because I have a history of awful customer service with O2, so it's not about the price for me, it's about the experience I've had working with them, and it's everything like this. So all business is a relationship. Somebody remind me later to talk about the velvet rope principle.
How much later?
22nd of August, 2019. Thank you very much. Later today. Thank you very much. So all business is a relationship, and the better a relationship you have with people, the more likely you are to sell. Today is about the top end of that relationship. So, the process that we've been kind of working on, or the kind of model that we've been working on, is this, the know, like, trust, buy principle. Working out how to shift people from being the general public who don't know about you to being the one person who's pressing buy, or saying buy, or saying buy. Yeah? Okay. Have you got an answer again? Getting late.
That's fine.
And also a handout. For you Philistines who go. So, to recap the first week, we touched on no, just creating a compelling brand, designing the ideal customer, and creating an offer that people want to buy, which is, we're going to touch on this again today. Customer value proposition. Live was the second week. It blows my mind how much information we've covered over the last kind of 3 weeks. It was about myths of business relationship, how you can get people to like you by what you can do with you, and then how you can get people to like you by what you do with them. And then the two golden rules of patience and trust that knit it all together. Then last week, apart from beating on David Cameron, what we did was really interesting. Evidence was divided last week about feedback. What we spoke about last week was why trust exists. We looked at the formula for trust, and then the 4 principles about what people are, what people see, what people feel, and what people want, and how to turn that into a loving, caring relationship. This week, we're going to look at buy. It's a monster, I have to say. There's a lot of information in here. Well, I think there's a lot of information in here. If there is anything that doesn't make sense, because there's so much I've just been shoehorning in, one of the things from last week was that it was a bit nebulous. I agree. Last week, I agree. So I've probably gone too far the other way, and I've got a load of granular nonsense in this week, which is all like, this is how we do it. So, this is this is what we're going to do today. We're going to start off with an overview of the buying thing, which is about, it's a process. Going to do a little bit about the German language, timing, style awareness. I'll miss something off there. Then we're going to look at the principles that should drive your action when making offers, and then the actual offer, about how to create an offer, where to couch that. Somebody's actually later than Anne.
Thanks for doing.
You get to sit at the front.
Oh, you can sit next to me, let's see.
Okay.
Hide in the naughty corner.
Then we're going to look at the actions, about understanding that how the timeline fits together, how to do positioning and creating an offer, and then dealing with no. Ready? Mm-hmm. So we're going to start off with the overview bit. And the simple story is, buying is a process. Okay? It's not just a transaction. The transaction is the end of the process. Yeah? So it's the relationship that causes people to buy from you, not merely the offer. Does that make sense? I know it's a radical way of looking at it, because we go, oh, people buy, that's when they hand over the money. No, they buy it in kind of gradual increments. This... See? It is. Somebody's bloody charging outside and I'm not making a penny. How's it going? Welcome.
We've got to do the high jump over the wire.
Right.
Be in trouble.
So that's it to your right.
Where was that? Process. Something I'm going to talk about later is rolling up value. Okay, which is... Okay. This is called buy here, but the buying process starts there. The reason why I say this is that the start of the buying process is with a transaction of attention. Yeah? If I just run up to you and go, hi, want to buy a guitar? You're going to be like, fuck off. I have no interest in guitars.
Yeah.
It's not what I'm interested in. So first, the whole of the buying process starts with purchase of the attention. And that's by being interesting, or notable, or useful, or a cat, or entertaining, you know what I mean? All the kind of stuff you see online. First, purchase the attention.
Scan down the bags.
Scan my bags, exactly. Purchase the attention. So, and then what you do is you roll up the value. There are many offers within this. I was talking to one of my clients today, and what we were talking about is how the whole of this pyramid is about educating your clients, or educating potential clients, to be full paying clients. Do you understand what I mean by that? It's like, if I were working with, if I was working with you one-to-one, you would get much better value out of me if you know the particular technical words I use, if you knew my temperament, if you knew how I see the world, that kind of thing. Because otherwise you spend the first bit of working together getting to know each other, hashing all that out, all that kind of stuff. This is what this is. Yeah? All the stuff that goes online, all the stuff that goes in like this, it would be much easier, I'm guessing, much easier for me to sell you things now because you know me. Yeah? You like what I do, and you could trust what I suggest as an offer. Yeah? So, think of buying as a process rather than just a button push. Yeah? And there's a reason why I say buying and not selling. There is a difference. Buying is a pull process. Right? Selling is a push process. You do selling to somebody. Yeah? Buying is, the buyer's in charge. Yeah? So if I'm kind of helping you buy, I'm just going, oh, you might like this, or you might like this. This might come in handy. This one. Rather than trying to deliberately squeeze you into a corner where you have to buy using pressure selling techniques. Yeah? So the bias in charge, and the idea of this is to build tension in the individual rather than pressure in the situation. Yeah? Because with buying, the onus is on helping, and that's what we've been talking about the whole of the last 3 weeks, is about helping. Whereas selling, the onus is getting to the close. Yeah? Finding ways of pushing people through your process so you can get them to the close. The thing about buying is, who likes buying things here? Exactly, everybody loves buying things. Who likes being sold to? Nobody. Yeah, thanks, sir. Nobody likes being sold to because we feel like we're being pressured into something, yeah? It's like, stop it. Oh, would you like it like this? And have you considered that? Just push, push, push. People don't like being sold to. So what I'm suggesting is that we work on creating a buying model. And that's what this is all about. This funnel is about helping people to buy rather than selling to them. Now,
Can you get?
oh yes. This is the model that I've been working on for the last few weeks. In order to help you guys a little bit more, I've made it a little bit more practical. So it means it's changed a little bit. And it looks like this now. Okay? You probably can't see the yellow stuff. Soz. It looked great on my screen. Sorry, yeah. So what we've got here is it's the same principle. I mean, I've taken some of the details out, but the same arrow happens. But what this is that at this stage you've got your social. Then you lead your clients onto your website, where they join your list, at which point they take part in your newsletter, and then you can make a sale. Right? This is about the rolling up of value. Okay? Because you buy their attention here at the sociability bit, because on social media you can just be useful, funny, informative, engaging, that kind of thing, and you go, if you love that, come to my website. You go to your website, where you can have a longer, deeper, more meaningful conversation, deliver a bit more value. If you like that, join the list. This is where the velvet rope thing comes in. Oh, I remember. It's because once people are on your list, that's
Exclusive.
VIP treatment. The reason why I call it velvet rope, I don't know about you, pleb. Have you plebs been in the VIP areas of clubs and stuff? Okay.
Told you it was posh.
Exactly. So what happens is that, I don't know whether you know this, commoners, but when you go to expensive nightclubs, there's a bit that they don't let ordinary people in.
Yeah, showing his age.
Who told you about
I
this?
used to work here.
It sounds me.
Were you a dancer by any chance?
No, I've worked in clubs my whole life, in and out of them. So, there's a little bit of a VIP area, and then what they do is they have a velvet rope, where they don't let people like you like. So I'm being really rude. Where, so what they've got is they've got a kind of special VIP super treatment experience, where the music's slightly quieter, and it's all private, and there's not a queue at the bar, and all that kind of stuff, and you get fussed. And it's lush, generally. The idea is that once people are on your list, your newsletter, that's behind the velvet rope, right? And if you, one of the people I can recommend online is a woman called Marie Forleo. I heart her big time. Have you seen her stuff?
Tell me about it.
Oh my God. She's unbelievably good, she's funny, and she's possibly the most gorgeous woman on the planet. She's just amazing, and her stuff is great.
Who's this?
Marie Forleo. I shall write it down. Yeah, Marie Forleo. She's got 2 online businesses. One's called The Copy Cure, and the other, which is great. And the other one's called B School, which she runs 1 intake a year, a couple of grand, it's really worth it. Check her out. But what she does is she makes it very plain. There's some stuff I only write about in the newsletter. If you want my best stuff, join my list. And she's all over YouTube and she does all kinds of stuff, but she's like, if you want my really good stuff, join my list. Because when they're here, you've rolled up the value, you've got a relationship. Yeah? They've liked what they know what you do, they like what you're doing, and they're beginning to trust you. So you put them on your newsletter, and it's from that. I was talking to Chris Brogan the other day. I'm name dropping big time today. I was actually talking to Chris Brogan the other day. Again, somebody else to follow. You won't know.
It only works if we know who they are.
I don't care. I really don't give a monkey's chuff.
I know he is.
Yeah, I don't give a monkey's chuff whether or not you know who he is. I was super happy talking to Chris Brogan the other day. And what he was saying is that, because hilariously, he's working on a very similar model to this at the same time.
Great minds think alike.
You know when you just know you're on it and you're just like, well done, mate. So what he's saying, exactly the same thing. He gets 80% of his business from his list. 80%. And he turns over hundreds of thousands of dollars. The other 20% is he has multiple thousands of dollars speaking gigs in America and he's a published author. So he's got quite a bit of stuff from that. But 80% of his income comes from offers going to his newsletter.
Can I just clarify? What's the difference between the list and the newsletter? Because as you're on the list, you get the newsletter. What else do you get? Sorry?
Sometimes.
Sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes. There's people on my list.
Oops.
There's people on my list that don't send the newsletter to.
Okay, you send them offers or...
Yeah, sometimes. It depends if they haven't responded for a little while. I take them off my newsletter, so because it keeps my MailChimp costs down. You know. So, yeah, pile them on your list, send them a newsletter, then you can start creating. Does that make sense? Yeah. Is everyone getting this?
This is where I start to see businesses going wrong. That they're deeply in at the social end, trying to treat everybody who contacts them, with the same level of service. And I said to a few customers, they're spending hours and hours and hours on social media.
Yeah.
And what's the return for that?
Exactly.
You need to identify those people who are moving along the chain.
Exactly.
With you.
And this is where you roll up value, because you go, if you like this, if you want more attention, if you like this, if you want some more love, take the next step. And if you like that, if you want some more love, take the next step. So that it's a way of kind of cutting off the level of attention. Because social generally should be quite automated. Produce some content, atomize it up, send it out. Yeah. When you get to here, that's when it starts getting really personal. Yeah. So you've taken people from who don't know you all the way up here, get to know, and that's where you make a sale. Then after the sale, you start nurturing them.
You want that link back in, don't you? Because you need those feeding back to almost the trust part.
Well, this all happens. They're your audience in any case.
But if they can feed back to the trust part and give you more trust,
Yeah.
the referral, if you like.
Because they're on this newsletter, all that kind of stuff. So they're continually, trust here, they're continually just recycling that, and you're deepening the relationship. Yeah.
You may be going to put it on your next thing, but you're missing an arrow
I'm missing an arrow.
on the box.
Where?
Well, they need to be, you want another arrow on that, which is entitled something like recommend, and you bring them back into the list. Refer.
Referrals.
Yeah, but they don't come into the sale then, they come in. Somebody, you don't recommend somebody straight to a sale.
I've just put this in a circular for illustrative purposes. Only this is not a direct relationship thing, it's just so you get the idea. So that you're firing people up because this is where all the sales come from. All of this. And it's a recycler. If you don't have a list, get one. And if you do have a list, love them more. That simple.
I've started my list since
Hurrah! Love them more. Because they've Bilal, you let off. You know what I'm really
Yeah, but that's
loving?
Cycle from Lancaster.
And I only have one hand out. You know what I'm loving?
They're sisters, they've got both of you.
Oh, you can't sit all the way back there. Can you just push up a little bit?
Oh, I'll just shift it.
Sorry.
There's a chair there. There's a chair there.
Yeah, there's two chairs. There are two
Two
chairs
chairs.
here.
as well.
Okay. So unfortunately, I only have one handout between the pair of you. But what I'm absolutely loving is the fact there's more people here today than there was at the first one. Ah, sure. So, everybody single file. This is a more detailed version of that. You see how it's developed? Yeah? It's still the same process, but a little bit more granular. Great. So, your job in this process, you only have one job. One job. Ready? Hush falls over the crowd. One job, and that job is to help people make the right decision for them, not you. That's it. Everything else you do within that is to help them make the right decision. Now, anyone heard of decision fatigue? Is this a new thing to you?
Just planned a wedding, so.
I don't care. I don't care what happens anymore. Okay. Decision. It's old hat now.
Still waiting for the cake.
Yeah, well.
That was a decision she decided not to.
Okay, had a party woman dressed up. Decision fatigue basically is when you feel like this. Yeah, confused, perplexed, overloaded, overwhelmed, too much going on, disorientated, bewildered, because there's just too many decisions to make. Our brains, are pretty much designed to deal with this amount of choice. Eat, fight, run away, hang around with the kids. Basically, that's the level of decision-making kind of process. Our forebrains can only hold in 7 plus or minus 2 bits of information. 7. Now, if you think that, if you kind of bear in mind that humans come into contact with about 1 million bits of information a day, it's a lot of information to be dealing with. So, yeah, I'm trying to just roll. Now, we're used to this, right? This is what we're designed for. And this is what we get, 400 different kinds of fucking mustard. Right? Who cares? But this is what happens, because what we do is we spend our decision-making power.
Yeah, but when you eat it, you do care.
I really don't. It's just mustard.
Yeah, please, no. Or America.
Yeah.
France or America?
Huh?
France or America?
America. But even some Jack Daniels mustard here. But too much choice. So what you do is, the thing is, you waste your decision-making energy. You only have a finite amount of decisions in your head at any one time, right? And too much choice overwhelms us because we literally spend our decision-making. It's like willpower. Decision fatigue, right? This is fantastically big graph, but this is quality of decisions. And this is number of decisions in a day. Top science right here.
Neither one coat really.
Yeah, no, I'm not that. So basically, the general gist is, the more decisions you make, the worse you get at them. Right? Now, sadly, this is in direct contradiction of one of my most hated memes. This is this week's rant, by the way. One of my most hated memes on the web, which is, willpower's a muscle. The more you use willpower, the stronger it gets. Scientifically provably bullshit. Because the more decisions you make, the worse you get at them. Care about less. Don't have more willpower. Learn to cut off things. The word decision comes from the Latin decidia, it means to cut off. Literally, stop thinking about things. Make less decisions. Care less. Have anybody seen this willpower model before? The elephant and the rider. Right? One of the things, this is elegant. One way of looking at our mind is that we have a conscious mind and a subconscious mind. Right? Conscious mind is the rider, and the unconscious mind is the elephant. Right? For a short period of time, the rider can control the elephant, right? Because, you know, he's got some strength when he gets up in the morning, but after a whole day of wrestling the elephant, he's going to get tired, right? The elephant is colossally strong. This is your subconscious, right? Food, sex, all of that kind of feeling nice, that's your subconscious. This is why willpower doesn't work. Because no matter how well-meaning your willpower, your rider isn't strong enough to dominate your elephant. Which, top tip, if you ever want to install a new habit, or if you ever want to do something that you have to have willpower for, do it in the morning, when you've not worn out your willpower, right? When you've not used up all your choices, when you still have some power left to make a better decision.
It's because you're not thinking about the rest of the world.
It's not just that, you still have, you know, your rider still has some power left in him. But after a couple of hours, how long could you wrestle an elephant? I mean, you're quite buff. So how long could you wrestle an elephant for?
10 seconds?
Exactly. They're that strong. Yeah? So this is the thing with willpower. Right, now, what this model suggests is that there are 3 things you need to do in order to get more control of your life. 1, direct the rider. Tell the rider where he's directing the elephant. 2, motivate the elephant. Buns over there. Food.
What is this thing called?
What?
This
is it's a theory of the conscious. It's Chippendale Heath who wrote it, I think. And then shape the path. So that is, to apply it to my model, point them down the funnel. Look, if you do this, good things are going to happen. Show them what they can have. When you make an offer, this is why what is better than how. Yeah? Because by motivating the elephant, the rider has to do less work. And then shape the path, limit the amount of options you give to people. Because when you're trying to create a mass, if you give too much, you know about choice paralysis, right?
Yeah.
Choice architecture, any more than 3 or 4 choices, bleh, don't care. So when people don't know what to do next, they do nothing. Which brings me back to this. Your job in this process is to help people make the right decisions. Yeah? So what you're doing, pointing them down the funnel, showing them what they can have, and limiting the options. Okay? This is me when I was about 11.
What happened?
Exactly the same, man. Look at me. Oh.
Making to the quick.
Oh. Bless him. And Ginger. Hey ho. This is me when I was 11. What?
Looks so cute.
Bastard, look at me. So, I was about 11, and when I was 11, I started learning German.
Du sprichst Deutsch? Du sprichst Deutsch?
No.
No.
Not anymore, anyway.
Right.
And the reason why I mention German is that it has a... If you learn the German language, then there is... they have a rule, which is time, manner, place. And this is fantastically applicable to making offers. Okay? Alles klar?
Ja, alles klar.
Good work. Now, the way, so what I'm going to do is using this rule of German language, we're going to move on to the principles of making an offer. First, timing. As with most things in life, timing is absolutely imperative. Not only in when you sculpt the length of your offer, or when you put the spikes of attention in. Trust is right. Okay, this is where I've got. Sorry, it's enormous. This is 150 slides. When we were looking at the ideal customer, we were looking at the moment of need. Yeah, and this is what I mean by timing. If you look at the moment of need, is it the moment of need, or is it desire, or is it want? One of the things that you really, when is the greatest moment of need for your product, for your ideal customers? Okay, you might want to take a couple of seconds now to think about that. But if you bear in mind your ideal customers, you know, if you're working with super high execs like Julian, or if you know, when do they most want your product? You know, your charging thing. When do they most want it? Are they going to want it when they're out, or are they going to want it when they're doing something else? Or so, at what point are you going to be there with your offer? Because this is the wrong time to sell a man chicken.
You had to put a black guy up, didn't you?
It's Obama, man. But this is the wrong time to sell a man chicken. The right time to sell a man chicken is before he's eaten it. You know? Hmm? Pardon?
I reckon that was a restaurant.
Okay.
That would be a good time to sell me some chicken.
Now would be a good time. Exactly. Before you eat chicken is the best time. When you're hungry, when you want chicken is the best time to sell chicken, right? So, when you think about your potential punters, when is the time to sell them the chicken? Yeah. So, when's the greatest need for your product, for your ideal customers, and and this is a follow-up question, how can you make sure that your message is there when they get the hungriest? And this is one of the mistakes most people make with marketing, and in particular advertising, because what they do is they just throw as many, what it's called interruption marketing, they just spit out as much information, like throw shit at a wall and see what sticks. But remember the tampon ad question from week 1? Unless it's targeted directly at you, you don't notice. Yeah? So consider, and this is why ideal customer is so utterly important. Because unless you're speaking directly to somebody, they don't listen. Moving on to style awareness. This is me when I was 24. It's not. I was a goth at 12. So this is, if timing was the time part of the rule book, then this is the manner bit. Okay, this is the how. Style awareness. Now, remember this? Yeah? It's okay, Pip, relax. Remember this? How am I supposed to make my mind up quickly? If I make my mind up quickly, you know? I think the answer's in the question. Sorry, it's one of my favourite moments of the last month. I chuckle about that often. So, this is the kind of 4 styles that we were kind of working on. Now, I want to give you another way of thinking about this.
Oh no.
Which is, okay, and they translate. Okay, there's basically four different types of people. Okay, which is the thinker, the doer, the friend, or the actor. Okay, these two make decision on facts using their head. These two are more impulsive and make kind of passionate decisions. These two tend to ask. These two tend to tell. Does that make sense? Okay. Now the thing is about style awareness is that if you want to give somebody an offer, you have to be aware of their style because they absorb information in different ways. Okay. Now, if you look at the thinker's about details. Show me the details, right? Now, if I wanted to get a thinker involved, I'd have to show them technically the details and all of the stuff that could be involved in it, and talk them through the rule book and show them the handbook. And they're the kind of people who read the microwave handbook before they actually plug it in and cook some food. You know. The doer, on the other hand, just needs just the facts now and then sling it home. Yeah, there's no great conversation to be had. Tell me exactly what I need to know. Tell me quickly, and then do one. I'm not even joking. Ali Jama is a massive one of these.
Yeah.
That's what YouTube's for.
Huh?
That's what YouTube's for. When you get stuck and you think, yeah, read that manual, forget it. YouTube. How do I?
No, no, just plug it in. Switch
No,
it
no.
on.
No, when you've got something going off in your car and you're thinking, what? Yeah.
Yeah, I knew that.
Yeah.
You find
I
it
got
straight
find it
away.
on Google. Find it on YouTube.
I think I genuinely know what's wrong with my car. I just don't know how to fix it. It's one of those things. So your friend, you have to show them you care, right, about their experience and that you understand how their life is different and you understand their troubles and strife and that kind of thing. And the actor is involved me. Get me involved in stuff. Let's create a cause. Let's do something interesting. Now, this translates across to the other system, which is the angle. Those of you who were angles, I think, were you an angle? Yeah. This is the thinker. Yeah, which is about priorities to get it right, make sure it's accurate. They're organised, detail-orientated, systematic, all about punctuality and detail, right? They're definitely not misperceived as rigid, uptight, or boring. Definitely not. So that's thinker. The doer is logical, rational, pragmatic, focused, concrete. They're all about tasks. They're all about performance. They're generally quite competitive. Generally, action orientated. Generally have an idea of an audience in their head, congratulating them all the time. They do misperceived as arrogant, bossy, and think that they're always right, and they're not. I am. The friend is the and that was the line. The circles, I thought those people were circles, are friends, generally about consensus, getting people together, social, tolerant, empathic, supportive. It's all about loyalty and kind of friendships, and everything's developed through relationships. They're the kind of people that when you go for a meeting with them, they go, "Would you like some biscuits? Would you like to?" And then they start trying to feed you and love you, and rather than just get down to business. Some people really like it. I'm not one of them. And then the actor is the zigzag, which is about get creative. I'm quite an archetypical actor in the fact that risk-taking, high energy, general messing about. So, the reason why this is important is because when you're making an offer to somebody, you have to know which one of these you're talking to. Okay? Now, there are clashes. Okay? Now, there's kind of nemesis styles. Actor and thinker. The actor's busy going, "Oh, let's just go and do stuff. Let's just no. This is why certain authors probably really piss you off because they're just like, "No, let's just do it," and you're like, "No, we have a process to work through. Let's work it all out." And like, yeah, exactly. Yep. Yeah. And people like me are just going, "Woohoo, let's go." Yeah. The doer tends to be all like, "Oh no, let's get involved with the tasks," and the friends are like, "Can we not just get to know each other a little bit first? I really want to know about you, and let's create a relationship here," rather than just the doer thinking, "I don't want a fucking relationship, I just want things to happen." So, when you're making your offer, when you're presenting your information, bear in mind, A, what style you are, because the way you present information will be absolutely rooted in the kind of personality you are. But your client, your potential client, your potential customer will be looking to receive information in their dominant style. Yeah? So if you're kind of going, "Let's all get involved in a cause, let's get together and create some social change," and they're just like, "No, just tell me what needs to happen and when and how," then there's going to be a clash. So, making sense? Mm-hmm. I can literally feel you think, which is great. Which one is your ideal customer? Okay, when you think back to your original, when you were kind of profiling your original customer, when you're profiling your ideal customer, is that which one do you think? I'm going to show you a way of kind of getting around it slightly. And then how can you make sure that you include information that satisfies each style type in your marketing? So either you target one, you target doers, you go, "Okay, I'm going to target practical people, I'm going to target people who want to create a cause." All of the the online petitions, yeah, they tend to be for people like me who are just like, oh, let's change the world. Yeah, because they're so airy-fairy and don't actually do anything, then most people don't get involved. So, but how can you, if your ideal customers spread across a lot of these things, how can you make sure that you include information for all types so that your audience will self-select? And this is how I've kind of done a version for you. If you look in your little handbooks, there's a little practical bit of exercise that we're going to do in a minute.
Yeah, you may have covered it, I may have missed it first time. How, particularly if you're dealing with them online, how do you spot, or how do you efficiently spot what type they are?
You can tell by, you can get a rough trend. Generally, people in senior management do it.
Yeah, that's kind of my limited world, but if I'm just thinking if I'm dealing with people and I've had limited, I've not met them personally, limited interaction with them just online or LinkedIn.
Yeah, you'll be able to tell. If you go on their LinkedIn page, and it's all like their awards and lots of publications and that kind of thing, they're fucking actors, right? If you go on the LinkedIn page and it's just like bullet points of their career, doers, right?
Excellent.
If it's sort of pointing to academic stuff, thinkers. And if it's all, if they've got like 8 trillion gajillion kind of audience that there's loads of conversation going around, then they're probably friends.
I should have just recorded that. I'm trying to write it down. I think. Yeah.
Yeah, it's on tape.
Okay, oh cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, so what I did,
Cellology.
I always get the feeling, yeah, I love your expressions all the way through, Pip, it's great. So, this is I kind of came up with a semi-fake product, and about how I would create marketing material or create information that would help me develop a sale, and how it applies to each personality type. And then what you're going to do is you're going to take this and then apply it to your own stuff. So, for a thinker, because they like detail, I was thinking about, okay, share information about how the process works, technical information, you know, like spec, like flow charts and diagrams, detailed analysis of an event from current affairs, and show them how to break that down. This is the product is Cellology, a book on the sales process. So what you would do is you'd look at maybe detailed analysis would be showing how something in the press might have been sold, or show that if you had to sell the new, let's say you were going to newsjack something like the new big Tesla batteries, you know, they've just been released. So if you were going to newsjack that, you would say, okay, this is how I would sell it, this is how I would approach it, and you could break the technique down so that the thinker would get some detailed stuff to work with. For the doer, you'd use simple steps of how to use the book to get real value. You break it down a little bit more, just like checklists, top tips taken from the book, in like really simple tick box stuff. For the friend, you create case studies, talk about people you know, the relationships they've had, and how you've helped the businesses using the technique from the book, and then show them that you understand their particular niche. There's a kind of little bit of a trend in blogging at the moment doing genius articles. They're particularly aimed at friends. What genius articles are they, when you write it, you assume knowledge on behalf of the reader. Go, let's say how to choose the best wine for a dinner party, for instance. What you do is you go, you'd be targeting people like, feel like yourself, business owners, for instance. You go, well, you know, educating people like yourselves who understand that at a party, bringing the right bottle of wine can really make a really massive impact on how well you're seen at the party. Of course, you know that a lot of supermarkets are producing a lot of crap, or some Sainsbury's make great, and we all know this. So what you do is you assume knowledge on behalf of your reader, called Genius Articles, and it's aimed at friends, to include them. You know this, you're part of this, we understand each other, builds relationships. And then you show them understand their particular niche. If you are targeting authors, for example, and you can talk about, well, this is how it works for authors. This is authors I've worked for in the past. And this legislative change in the IP law, oh, this could affect authors this way. Because you understand, you know it. Oh, it's terrible when you have to write 15,000 words a day when you're approaching a deadline from your publisher, and blah, 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 blah. You know? It shows you know them. And then, for the actor, involve them any way you can. Release a chapter a week of the book, and then invite feedback. As you write it, just give me. Go, what do you think? And they'll chip in, and they'll tell their friends, and they'll enjoy it and get involved in it. Ask them to tell you their biggest fears and worst experiences of the selling cycle. You know, when you've got those horror show meetings, when you're trying to sell somebody something, and the person there's not even interested, and you're like, no, do you want to buy? And they're like, what are you here for? Horrible. Yeah? And then what you could do is webinar 20 points from the book. So you get and you talk about it, and this is what Chris Brogan does a lot of. He does a lot of webinars. And you feel like you know the dude. Great. So, the next bit to think about, which goes to the place bit of the time, manner, place. Which channel? Okay? So, bearing in mind your ideal customer, bearing in mind their personality type and yours, which channel is going to be the most effective way of getting them involved in things? So this is what we did. This is what I did. And you can in fact do all of these. You can in fact do all of these, and they would cross-fertilize. Because if you're doing like a webinar for an actor, then the doer probably wouldn't go at the webinar because they're way too long. Look at you all nicking my IP, bastards.
You're throwing up on a plate.
Huh?
We're not going to share it, we're just going to use it.
No, good work. I'm joking. It's very flattering, thank you.
Weird because you're a genius, you know it.
Flattery, seriously, I love it. So what you could do is you could actually just program these all in to one single timeline so that you're talking to many different kinds of, all the different personality types, yeah?
So keep that again, please.
Yeah, what you could do is you could do all of this.
What, in one? Or no, there'd be different things, there'd be different actions.
Yeah, if you think
so you'd have the message on.
So you get everybody.
If you're thinking about launching a book,
yeah,
right, that is about a month, right? Because humans have only got 4 weeks of attention, right? You know this.
Really?
Humans have only got 4 weeks of attention. What happened to the Ebola stories? What happened to those ladies who were kidnapped in Nigeria?
Still good.
They are. The world's just moved on because we can only tolerate a month of any particular kind of information before we just move on.
And we get bored.
Humans have roughly 4 weeks of attention. Personally, I think it's something to do with cycles of the moon, which is our. I'm not even joking. I think it's to do with cycles of the moon because most of our human drives are to do
We had
with
full moon last night.
Yes, it was, and that's why I haven't slept and I'm a little bit manic today.
Really, what's different?
But, so, this is a process I would say that you could do all of and try and widen your audience as much as possible. So, as a thinker, you could write quite a technical 2,000-3,000 word article on your blog talking about the processes, the technical information of that. You could also produce a white paper or an ebook from which the blog is taken. Yeah? You could then create an infographic that represents both of these. Now, same information.
So basically, same. Okay.
It's called content atomization. And this is
Content
what?
Atomization.
This is the thing, is that it's great for the buttons,
You know
but this is about creating content.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's content that creates attention. Because this is where social really comes alive, because you can kind of use the same information and chop it up in different ways, and everybody benefits. So, the technical stuff would live on your blog. The white paper would go on your website, and the infographic, circulate that on some social site like LinkedIn, where people are going to go, oh, I like that, share. Yeah? For the doer, you could create some simple steps, top 10 posts, top tips posts, checklists, all that kind of stuff, top tip post goes on LinkedIn for the same reason. It's shareable. Checklists, that kind of thing goes really well on Twitter because you can create a picture of it, that kind of thing. People share it really easily. And then you can take for the doer, top 10 tips taken from the book, smashed over a few weeks, turn it into a short email course, run through a responder on MailChimp. Yeah? Does that make sense? Got an interesting look on your face, Dave, you okay?
Yeah, fine.
Okay, good. Because what you can do is you can set up effectively little chains of emails. So you could, which I'm going to do when I launch this course commercially. One of the lead-ins is going to be a 5 or 6 week course done via email where we take one of the lessons.
Are we your guinea pigs?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. This is why next week's really interesting because that's about understanding how I'm going to turn this into a series of lessons. So short email course for the friend, case studies, because Facebook's really good for stories. You can tell a lot of stories on Facebook for the friend, because Facebook have friends like Facebook. Have a webinar for a particular niche. You should be doing loads of webinars. Talking to authors. Just you don't have to be on camera.
Oh, okay.
What you do is you can get like a PowerPoint thing. You put the PowerPoint on camera and you just talk them through the points. All you hear is your voice. You're welcome.
Ah, that's a lot better.
You're welcome. Yeah. So a bit like if you imagine my disembodied voice and this was happening, you would only see that on the screen. And when I was making a new point, I'd just flip it over. Yeah.
So I'm just thinking, how are you going to manage to? Are you going to be really crazily animated as well?
How do you mean? I'm always like this.
I'm talking about recording it.
Yeah, still.
That's good.
So have a night at home. Pating! Good work. So webinars, because then you can kind of have some kind of give and take, and some, and friends like that because they like feeling involved. Actors, if you're going to release a chapter a month, you put it on the blog. Talking about your biggest, worst experiences. Facebook, put a group so it's nice and private, and then webinar key points for the book. Ta-da. Yeah.
How does it translate this sort of model into sort of face-to-face interactions or telephoning or networking meetings? That's all the other sort of aspects. So it's all online stuff.
Yeah. How does it translate?
Yeah.
Cut and thrust of information. Okay, so if I pull back. Yeah. So if I was on the phone with a thinker or face-to-face, I'd talk to them about technical details. For those people who know Pete Rawling, UCLan, he's a thinker, he likes excruciating amount of detail. That's just the way he's built. For doers, you just, this is what we need to do, talk, yeah. For friends, you need to just go, let's get to know each other a little bit, let's create a relationship out of this and then see what happens, rather than, first, here is the facts. And then for actors, involve them in a campaign. This is what we're going to do together. Let's go. Let's make. Does that help?
Yeah.
So it's about the quality of information, and this is why I produced these. The show me the details we brought, because they're like just things to bear in mind. Yeah. So
maybe certain things like you might want to have longer conversations with some people than other people.
Absolutely.
In those
you would have longer conversations with the friend and the actor, because they're more personable, touchy-feely, generally better people, I think.
Can I give you a tip about thinkers when you're presenting to them? I used to have a boss who became, I didn't know him before he became my boss. Yeah. And I'd take a proposal to him, and I'd start off, and he'd go completely silent. And I'd think, oh God, he thinks I'm an idiot. So I'd talk louder and longer and harder. And eventually he'd throw me out. And eventually I worked out, when he went quiet, I'd press the button and the mechanics started working. And once I sat there for 12 minutes while he thought, and at the end he said, yeah, I like that, we'll do it. I just had to learn to fight my desire to fill that space.
Because you're an actor.
Yeah.
Because you're an actor, you're like, get me, come on, let's go and do stuff. And he's just like, no, I'm switching off and going inside now.
So if you want a thinker to make a decision while you're in front of them, you need to send them the information
beforehand.
Yeah.
Good work, very clever thinking. Yeah?
What am I, Neil?
Did you not do the circle thing, blah, 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 blah? Can you remember that?
I did, I forgot which one it was.
I
I was the
Zigzag.
Zigzag.
So then you'd be an actor.
All right.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So, is this making sense to everybody? Okay, good. And this is how you can create a kind of massively comprehensive marketing content approach to reach as wide an audience as possible if you don't want to target a particular one. So, how are we doing for time?
6.
Oh, 5 minutes before we break, what I'd like you to do, you've got a blank sheet in front of you, hopefully, is think about your core product. Yeah? Think about one of your key products or services. And what I'd like you to do is think about how you could tell them what they would need to read about your product so that it would make sense to them. I want you to do this for your stuff. 2 or 3 minutes. Does anybody struggling? Does that make sense to everybody, yeah?
This is really hard.
Yeah, I know it's really hard.
I think the only thing is that I know that I would never ever work with a thinker. So I wouldn't even try to appeal to them.
Okay, then don't.
Yeah.
All right.
We're getting a bad rap. Us thinkers.
No, thinkers are great, you just got to give them the right amount of detail and then they're happy and then they've got stuff to chew on.
Yeah.
We do ask too many questions, it's true.
Depends how you see questions. I love being asked questions.
No, I ask lots of questions and
It's when they're
Yeah.
repetitive and that's the same thing different ways.
Mm.
Because I've got an uncle like that, and it's just like,
so
I just
detailed.
told you.
That's not really that's anybody. Yeah. Could just be not.
No, he'll say the same. It's just like, yeah, but I'm like, I'm just going to give you the same answer.
That's good. They're just checking it off in the head because they can't make links between the two bits of information because they're not creative like that. They need all of the boxes ticked because they have boxes to tick.
Sub boxes for me, one box for him, 4 or 5.
Yeah, you're a top level thinker. You're kind of like a big broad brush approach thinker because
I can get in nitty gritty when I want to, but I
it's
prefer
not where
to
you
just.
live though.
That's not where I live. I like living there.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
I have to get there.
Because it's more fun
sometimes.
because you can do bigger and more and faster.
Yeah,
Whereas if you get into detail,
it's worked me out.
then it slows you down.
Yeah,
I'm exactly the same, Bilal, as well.
because it bores me. It's tiring.
Exactly.
I get
Because
other
you have
people.
only so many decisions to make per day.
I don't know. I get other people to do stuff now. It's like, right,
Exactly.
you can do that.
Minion, deal with it.
So I've got.
Sorry, calibrator.
I've got a minion. She's brilliant. She does all my QC work. It's like, I can't be asked doing that. You do it.
Good work.
Slightly irrelevant. Is there any good tip for doing your own infographics? Because they're fantastic. They look awfully, very, very complicated to do.
Depends. It's quality and, you know.
There's a site. There's lots of sites
Canva.
available now.
Okay.
Type in infographics.
Have you got a link at all, or just any names or anything like that?
I can get you. Give me a card. I'll give you a link.
Canva.com.
Yeah.
Mm.
And then when you get complicated, you contact a designer.
The easiest to use is
I haven't
Canva.
got a card with me. I don't use cards actually.
Julian,
but I'll- yes.
the easiest to use is Canva.
But I will
.com.
contact, yeah. Canva.com, no,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah. And it's really good. But I think it's
Should
the
have
quality
bits
of
to
the
it.
information.
Chinese whispers.
Yeah, ginger nut.
There you go.
Nice bit of branding.
Thank you. Instantly memorable. Well done. Awesome. Yeah.
Give them a brand.
Has anybody got any questions? Anyone struggling?
I couldn't possibly do that in 3 minutes, but I'm
I did
blown
that.
away by it, really well.
I did that in 3 minutes.
Yeah, but Neil, you're ahead of us in that thinking.
Yeah, I think it's really, really good. I don't know
I
how
could
to
do
do
it,
it,
can't
but
I?
I do want to. I will do it. It's not okay.
Okay, in short, this is detail,
Miss Williamson.
actions, relationships, involvement.
I think the other thing is
Yeah.
we're very, very tempted, or settled people, yeah, that when we create something, we give it away all at once. Okay, so we've done this and we'll tell you the story from the beginning to the end. But what I'm actually learning, as you said, is we need to give it away in chunks.
But stories tend to appeal to these people. You know, this is what we're doing. We, us, our, we. Yeah? And that'll only, you're only reaching 25% of the people there. tell them how. Think as a
No,
general
I
idea.
suppose I'm using whatever our project is,
Yeah.
we tend to give it in a whole one piece instead of saying,
I don't know.
actually we'll
A relationship is fragile.
chop up that information and we'll give it out. It's,
Okay.
yeah, it's more valuable than just to give
Yes.
it away all at once.
Yeah, it's called content atomization. It takes a lot of the graft out of social media because most people like spend ages producing a white paper or an ebook and then they just publish it all at once. But what they should do
Maybe in a
is
social
publish it
setting or
in
a
separate
business
chapters and then bundle it
Go
and
into,
then
I've never
publish
done this
all of the
myself.
illustrations
Go
out
into a
of it
mindset like this
in
where
separate
you
weeks and then
try-
bundle
not
it into
try,
the book
but
and then
okay,
blah
well,
blah
you're
blah
saying
and then
this.
profile of people
I
who produced it in different weeks.
Yeah.
So you get like 3 or 4 months
account for a little
out
bit.
of one tiny ebook which you could just go like that.
But yeah,
Get rid of it.
I had a team of people.
Yeah,
And then I
see how it works,
and then
well.
I just-
Because you're about to start producing content, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm just
Atomize.
go do it.
Learn this.
Oh, well, no, if you try
Learn
to
this,
down and
because
read
it's
it first.
really important.
And that's so against me.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And if you have, you know, international experience and global know-how, which you do, then finding ways of
Yeah,
expunging that and then turning it into little.
I've done a little bit on terms of a thing called the Content Twister, which is for doing blog posts, but I've never done it. What's really new and fantastic is I've not thought of it in the context of the different types of people.
Yeah. Not like
It's a bit like your Myers-Briggs stuff and all
Yes.
that sort of stuff. And I just haven't thought about that, and that's really, really good. I really like it.
Good.
It will be done.
Good. Then all you do is you just arrange that into a timeline.
And you can have, I guess, with the bit that somebody that's not receptive to that bit won't even notice that you've done that one. So if I do a techie blog, the actor
Bounce off me.
ain't going to see
Exactly.
it. So it doesn't matter if I do one day and then one the next.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because people, the whole idea is that your audience will self-select. Yeah,
It's really good.
this is where I'm at. This is what I'm missing. Yeah.
Awesome.
It's like if I mention heavy metal vomit parties, Pips all ears. You mentioned it first. I mentioned it wasn't going to be one, and you were like, "Oh." Yeah, if I mentioned heavy metal vomit, because we're all sensitive to particular kinds of information about different things. Good work. So, 5-minute break, perhaps, and then we'll come back and smash the last bit. What we're going to do is we're going to do the principles that should lead you in creating your offer, which is we're going to start with making the buyer the hero.
Really?
Have you heard about this before? About making your buyer a hero? Okay, cool. So you need to. This is the in the process in all of this process, particularly at this end, but in all of this process, you need to make the buyer your own. What I mean by this is that everybody likes to think that they're a great driver, right? Everybody likes it. You know, if you the proportion of people who think they're above average drivers is something like 90%. Exactly. You know, I'm much better than average as a driver. Bullshit. You just like to think you're a great driver. It's the same with being a tough negotiator, bargain finder, queen of business, on the way up, and special. Nobody likes to feel I'm less than average. Nobody does. Nobody likes to feel that they're going backwards, or that, you know, that they're dull, or unimportant, or that they're regularly fleeced by cleverer people than them.
We just had that conversation.
Nobody likes to feel like that. Nobody. So, it's your job. It's your job to make them feel all of these things. That's the job of this. Anne calls it customer love. I would agree. Yeah? When you love somebody, you want the best for them. Okay? I want my buyers, I want you guys. You're like my inner circle of people, because I've spent more time with you than quite a lot of other people. You know, in kind of business terms, you're my in crowd. Okay? Whatever you want, you can have. No, seriously. If I can give you it, I will do, because I want you all to feel like this. Because when you feel like this, you're more likely to see me as part of the source for this and buy from me, because I make you feel better. In the handout from the first week, Maya Angelou says, people fail to remember what you said, what you did. What they'll remember is how you made them feel. So if I make you feel great, you think, Neil, he's amazing, he makes me feel great. There's a reason why there's a lot of laughing in the sessions. People like to laugh, and they remember the laughing. Other information sinks in kind of by the side. Yeah? So, how do you make your potential clients and people at every point in your funnel feel like those things? Yeah? Now, in particular, when they get up the pointy end of the funnel, when you're starting to try and sell them things of value that are going to cost them more money, this is really important. Because they're not going to, I mean, driving's not particularly, but if you want to buy this, you're a great driver.
See, I thought great drivers in a driven person, but...
No, I just mean like people like to think that they're good at actually driving. Yeah. But people want to feel that when you're in negotiations with them, that you're a little bit scared of them, that you see them as a bit savvy, that, you know, that they're really good at business. Make them feel like this. Make them feel like this. Make them feel special. Make them feel that they're formidable. It's your job to make them feel like this, and your buying process needs to make them feel like this. Everything should add to the relationship that we have. There is a technique to it, and we're going to talk about the technique. Well, I'm going to talk, you're going to listen. Bitches. So, start off by creating a win-win mindset. Okay? There's no point in having a...
Sorry, just go back. I saw a cartoon today. Go back. I've got to tell you. You know the one where the guy's on his knuckles and the fourth one is the person with the spear turns around, he's going back, he says, go back, we made an arse of it.
Yeah, exactly, yes. Mistake! You might have a point there. But yeah, you create a win-win mindset. If you have a selling process where you win and they lose, that's messed up. Worse, if you have a selling process where they win and you lose, double messed up. So you have to design a system where you both win, right? This is Saffron, my daughter, okay? I've got a picture in it. I have convinced Saffron that I like hugs, but she's getting to that age where she's like, screw you, I'm off and independent. Right?
How old is she?
She's 6. So she's busy playing all that independent stuff. However, I've convinced her that she can always beat me into submission and hug me whenever she wants. Which means, as she's an independent bugger who likes to prove how strong she is at everything, she regularly beats me in the hug fight and hugs me against my will.
I like how he's twisted there.
Win, 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 win. I get the hugs I want. If she thinks she's winning, she's like, yeah, you can't stop me, can you? And it's like she's got proper swagger on about this. She's like, literally thinks she's dominating me. It's hilarious.
This is kind of child abuse.
Not at all. She's beating me, not the other way around. So, what you need to be thinking is that how you can build that feeling of win-win into your buying process with your clients, so that they feel they're winning, that they feel they're actually getting the better of you, rather than just buying something and they'll come back. Okay? And the key to this is focus on interests and not positions. Okay? Understand what they want. Is it about, do they want cheapness? Do they want functionality? Do they want competitive advantage? Do they want blah, 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 blah? Now, if you know what they want, then you can build that in. You know, you can, once you know what anybody wants, they're in your pocket forever. Because once you know what people want, you can just put everything in those terms. So find out more. Been doing a lot of work recently with Ali Jama, who's a sales expert, and he spends most of the sales conversation asking questions. So, what are your plans for your business? How's that going to develop? And what do you think you could be doing in 3 years' time? Because once they tell him, you can go, okay, right, you need that, and you need that, you need that. So, let me get that right. If you were to have product that did X, which resulted in your business growing in the way that you wanted to do, would you be interested in that? Well, yes, I would. Easy sale at that point. First, understand what they want. So if you focus on their interests rather than the position, well, I'm going to sell you something now, and I'm the business owner, and you're going to buy from me. It doesn't matter. Think it as a collaboration. Yeah, that you're helping them achieve their interests. Yeah. So if you think about your customers, if you think about your core customers, the people that you really want to target, what are they interested in? Mm-hmm. Is it about educating children? You know, is it about getting the best out of their technology? Because if it's about getting the best out of the technology, fantastic, because you can go, great, not just us, but what we'll do is we'll leverage relationships with people like LearnMaker and blah, 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 to bring that in. Would you now? That sounds fantastic. We've got all of these iPads that aren't being used. Do you want me to show you how to do that? I'll charge you for it. Just bring LearnMaker in. LearnMaker are looking to do free events all around the country, blah, 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 blah. Great. We'll do this special thing leveraging our relationship with LearnMaker just for you guys. Yeah? Because you're concentrating on their interests rather than selling them stuff. Yeah? Make sense? Yeah. So when you think about seriously, think about your clients, think about what they want. Because, have I spoke about, I know I spoke about it, do you remember the difference between strategic and discretionary money? Yeah, you want to know that? Because, no. Thanks for that blank look, I shall recap. The difference between strategic and discretionary money. Discretionary money is just buy it because you might like the product, right? Strategic spending is if you buy this for, let's say if you buy widget A for 10 quid, then you could use that in your business and you could earn £1,000 down. That makes it strategic spending, not discretionary spending. By spending 10 quid, you earn £1,000. Yeah? Now, what you have to do is you have to know that they want to earn £1,000 to start with. Yeah? If they want happier staff, you sell whatever you sell them, they're buying happier staff. Yeah? So the more you can make your offer about just strategic money rather than discretionary money, the better it gets, the easier it gets to sell. Offer options, but a limited amount of options. Yeah? Because iPhone are particularly good for this. We've got an iPhone 5. Would you like it in blue or pink? Or then that was a release, that was a model release. You've got the iPhone 5, and then you've got the iPhone 5C, which stood for colour. Yeah? They give you a limited, they haven't changed the phone, they just give you another limited amount of options. So when you think about what you sell, what options can you give them? Yeah?
Like packages.
Yeah. Yeah. If you look at most online selling now, or applications is particularly interesting for this, is what they'll do is you go to the pricing bit, and then they'll give you a matrix with gold, silver, ABC, gold, silver, bronze, whatever, and then they'll give you a list of features, and then they'll be like tick, 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 cross, 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 tick, 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 cross, 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 and then that'll be all tick. So what they're doing is they're fundamentally the same stuff. They're just giving you a limited version of this. Yeah, give you a limited version of it. It doesn't cost them any extra to do, but it gives you the kind of feeling of configurability. Yeah. So if you were doing packages for what you do, you could offer like just a phone package, then you could do a phone and laptop package, or a phone and blah blah. Blah.
2 devices, discount price.
Yeah, exactly. So what they're actually buying is a product, not a service, and products are the way forward. So when you offer options but offer a limited amount of options. Always offer the most expensive first. Cost it.
Why products the way forward? Why products the way forward?
Because you can scale product. It's very difficult to scale services. Because it's time and money rather than time and product. Yeah. So when you're offering your options, always offer the most expensive first. You know about this, right? It's a car selling technique. Because if I start at the cheapest, then, oh, buy this, it's 50 quid, okay? Or you could buy the next model up, which is £250, that's quite expensive. Or you could buy the most expensive one at £1,000, right? That sounds like a fortune. But if I start at £1,000, does all this, bells and whistles, blah, 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 £1,000. The next stage down, pretty much the same kit, doesn't have all the bells and whistles, but does pretty much the same job, 250 quid. That sounds like a proper fucking bargain right there. And then you go, okay, £50 is the bargain basement cheapest chips one. You know what, that sounds Italian. If you offer the most expensive one first, people generally see great bargain in the middle. If you offer the cheapest one first, they generally go for the cheapest one because everything sounds expensive after that. Context. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah? Good. The look of disbelief on your face is hilarious.
I'm just recently got engaged and I'm thinking, she would never have chosen the least expensive.
I bought some red ones.
Yes.
Bread and water for you for the next 3 months.
Are they smaller than I meant? No.
We narrowed it down.
I'm just looking at you because I'm like,
Yeah.
your husband must
And
have
we had
like
£800
bread and milk for like
Yeah.
a month.
£1,200.
It's a nice
Yeah.
ring you've got.
Right at
darling.
the end of the process, she brought out £3,500.
Worth it.
Yeah, worth it.
It was exactly the right style, but shit, that's very nice.
Yeah, exactly. So
Get
she
the
knows what
credit.
you
know
know.
it, so.
But she brought it
Right,
out
sorry.
last,
When a
not
friend
first.
made it.
Yeah, she did.
That's
Let's
really-
talk
that's
about
really
it.
sweet.
A bit.
You spent £3,500 on a ring? No case.
Nice though.
Generally speaking, if you play the odds, rings are slightly different, but if you play the odds, you earn more money by offering the most expensive one first.
Not in her case.
Unless she's-
Not in her case, but she's dealing on expensive rings, isn't she? And when you're on the hook, you can do anything with you when you're on the hook. When you're going to make a purchase,
Possibly she thought I wasn't in the market.
yeah. And then when you're talking, she's thought, But then if you're kind of there deciding between an £800 rig and something else, you're going to make a purchase. It makes no difference if she wheels out the expensive one because you're going to make a purchase. There's an there's a possibility you might go nuts and buy the £3.5 grand one, but she knows you're on the hook for £800.
Yeah.
I
So-
think car dealerships miss a trick with this.
Yes.
When you take your car in to be serviced or whatever, and they give you a small courtesy car, they should say, "Oh, you've come in an A3 or an A5, whatever," and give you the next one up. And then
Exactly.
Who you going to? I've had an Audi TT. I've had a cabriolet. I've had an A4. I've had an A6.
Nice.
No, I've been to Aldi and I've ended up with an A1. It's
They're like
really?
They were
Julian.
going to offer me a Q5, and I went, "What the hell am I going to do with a Q5 for a week?"
I get that, I don't disagree. I just
It's
think
huge,
to link
it's
that
trucks.
to an offering where you've got like a
Next time, take me in with you.
bronze, silver, gold, platinum, where you want to come in at an entry level and progress or aspire to progress
When I
to
got the Audi
the most
TT S line
expensive
2
level. I
litre
can't quite link
turbo.
the two.
Well, I would
done
sell
1,200 miles when
I would
got
always
it.
try and sell
It
the
had done
platinum.
2,200 when I gave it back.
And you can make your own bronze level just that little bit not quite fit for purpose.
Because if you start off, if you're assuming that they're going to, if you start at the bottom, they'll take the first one that goes, "Oh, that'll do." Yeah. But when you go the other way, they'll get the first one that they can afford, which is different.
It's a very subtle point, but I've noticed on lists like that now, they don't put a cross, they just leave it blank.
Yes.
And it's strange, a few years ago it was always crossed.
Yes, it was always.
Now it's a case of, it's not a case of you don't get it, it's just it's
just
not
not
there.
there. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah,
Because yes, indeed. Yeah, that makes more sense.
It's a very subtle point, but
No,
it
definitely.
works very well.
Yes. So this is the thing: is that when you're configuring your products, I would consider. Next one is offer symbolic concessions. Symbolic concessions are concessions that you can give that don't cost you nothing. But we touched on it in the first week. The first week was like your value adds, your little offer improvers, free shipping, fast next day shipping, free bonus for the purchase. The bonus is obviously going to be something you can produce for next to nothing. No setup fee, because it doesn't cost you anything. No long-term contract, cancel any time, money back guarantee, all that kind of stuff. So, if you're in a negotiation with somebody and like, oh, they're humming and hawing, and you go, well, we can chuck in free bonus with X, Y, and Z. We can chuck in no setup fee. We can chuck. Oh, wow, that sounds like amazing, and you're making them feel like a great negotiator. What would help you make your mind up? How about if I offered you this? How about if I offered you...
I love free shipping.
Yeah.
It gets me every time. I don't care if the money is in the actual product, just don't charge me shipping separate.
Yeah, exactly. It's how Amazon Prime cleans up.
Yeah.
And I know what they're doing, I'm not stupid, but it's just I just don't want to see the price separately, that's all.
Yeah, exactly. But, you know, you're paying like 95 quid a year now. Prime, is it?
79.
I don't pay for that.
79?
Oh, no. If you order normal, you get it the next day or the day after anyway. That's how quick Amazon are.
Wow. Well, that's
Stupid
where my license fee's going. It's hilarious that people don't want to pay license fee. But give me that Amazon Prime shit, definitely. Same kind of price. You know, it's nuts, isn't it? So, this is offer symbolic concessions. Okay, I use this when I'm speaking. Sometimes when I sell stuff, if you buy it today, then you'll get it for such and such a price, or I'll add on this, or I'll add on that, or if you buy today, or for the first 5 people who come and talk to me, I can give you blah blah blah. The concessions don't cost me anything particularly, but they do sound like a sweetener. One of the things I do if I'm doing short talks, something less than kind of 15 minutes, I'll talk about, okay, after this, I'd love to talk to you more. What I do is I do a free assessment, and for the first 5 people who give me business cards after this, then I'll do a free assessment for you. And you always get more than 5 cards. Free assessment doesn't cost me nothing. But if I just said, oh, well, I'm going to talk now, then I wouldn't get any cards at you. So, I've tried it. The next bit is create a story for your client where they win big time. This is where your features, advantages, and benefits come in, particularly the advantages. by doing this, you will get. By doing this, it will enable you to. By doing this, and it's back to this strategic spending again. So if people love stories.
Facts tell, stories sell.
Yeah, people love stories. Now, if you can tell a story about, somebody just like you, who owns a butcher's in blah, 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 bought one of these a little while back, and what they did with it was it enabled them to do X, Y, and Z. And what you're saying is, it's a bit like that. Here's what you could have won. So, tell them a little story, get them involved. Third-party stories speak deeply to the psyche, where they go, oh, I'm a bit like that, I'm a bit like that, I'm a bit like that. Where you're not going, this is what you could get. So, create a story. What's the story of working with you guys? Back to your brand. Yeah? Your brand is your story. Yeah? And then you've got case studies. If you've got your kind of brand here, then you need a number of case studies that prove your point. If you've got options for different products, you need a story for each one. Yeah?
We do that like in our we have a core of schools that are sort of like pioneers for our product solutions, whatever.
Yeah.
Because head teachers, you have that conversation every year and go, what's everyone else doing that we're not doing? Because I need to do what everyone else is doing because they can't stand being left.
I love the notion of pioneers.
Yeah.
Do you publicly acknowledge them for that?
Yeah.
You do?
Yeah,
Oh, good work.
Yeah.
More of that. The more you do that, the more they'll enjoy it. The more they'll do it. The more PR squeeze they can get out of that. Bonus, good work. So, create a story. Do you tell the stories about how the pioneers win?
Yes.
Okay, brilliant. The more you can do that.
And we invite, the little events we do for whoever, they love coming along and shouting and boasting about why they're better than everybody else, and then they go back and say, well, why are we not good as them?
Of course they do. And it's in your best interests to bring that together and make that happen. Yeah? Well, that's what you should be sharing on social media. All of that, stories of them doing lots of happy smiling kids and that. All of that, because that's what the schools want. That and Ofsted increases. And if you can share the Ofsted increases, double win. So the last principle in this bit is about leveraging influence. Now it's related to trust. Now,
why does that look like Van Damme?
It does actually. The three facets to be able to.
That's a believable emotion on the face.
Indeed, yeah. And it's more dimensional. Yes. There's three things you need to show to be able to leverage your influence on somebody. First, you need to show them that you're an expert. Yeah. Second, you need to show them that you empathise with their situation. Because if you're just an expert, then that's great. But being an expert who knows about venue hire, or being an expert that knows about representing bands, or being an expert that knows about blah blah, then you go, oh, fucking excellent. He knows how to. He knows about representing bands, right? I'll listen to him. Then this is the key bit: is to be impartial. Because if I take you back to the key things that you're doing throughout this whole buying process, is helping them make the best decisions. You're not selling, because if you're partial if you're partisan in any way, then you're not helping them, you're helping you.
You've got to leave it up to them.
Exactly. So by being impartial, you'll get extra credit, dude, and they'll act more on your impartial advice. And what you'll find is, if you're impartial with them long enough, they'll come back and they'll ask your opinion again and again and again and again. And then you have a relationship, and then you can sell them just by being around. So if you want to get people to do stuff, show them. There's a great film called The Tao of Steve. And Catherine Bigelow, the director, she's great. And one of her first feature was a thing called The Tao of Steve, which was about this. He's about the stoner guy who's unbelievably, amazingly attractive to women, but he's really fat and ugly. And he's got this kind of the Tao of Steve, his kind of way of attracting women. Be desireless, be excellent, and then be gone. Because you have to give them the space in which to appreciate your brilliance, right? Same thing. Right? Same thing, you have to be, right, here's the information, shh, you need to talk on. Yeah? Brilliant. So, and that's how you do it.
What you did with that client.
Never ever use sales tips and tricks.
Yeah. I
Never.
stop everybody in my team doing any sales. I'm like, don't look at sales training. It's very simple.
Yeah.
You've got to sell yourself. That's it.
Yeah, just be nice.
Be yourself.
Yeah.
Be nice. Yeah.
Just be yourself, be nice, be helpful.
Keep it simple.
Because sales tips and tricks massively increases buyer remorse. You know what buyer remorse is? Buyer remorse is
Shouldn't have bought this.
activating your money back guarantee. I would, where possible, I would offer a money back guarantee for everything you do, because it increases people's confidence that they can sort it out if it all fucks up.
But then nobody's ever acted with me.
Very rarely.
Mm.
Very rarely. But if you pressure people into selling, if you pressure sell people, it massively increases buyer remorse and people ask for their money more often. So, and the way I kind of think about it is win an argument, lose an ally. I'm a fantastic husband because I don't argue.
She's always right.
Got no choice.
Well, no, not met my missus, man. She's savage.
Speaking from the heart. There's no point in getting into argument with a woman.
Exactly, because even if I win the win the argument, I've upset the person I care about the most.
Yeah.
How is that a win?
Yeah.
How
You
is
look
that-
at the bigger picture.
Yeah.
Instead
How
of
is that a win?
this, you don't listen. You don't fall into the trap which many people do, which is ego.
Yeah, but the thing is that what do I want to happen? Do I want a happy wife or do I want to win?
Happy wife, happy life.
I think you did better say that.
I've chosen to my 8-year-old.
My wife, however, she doesn't think happy husband, happy life, strangely. but to be absolutely honest, there's no point in winning an argument if it's like Pyrrhic victory. You're not going to win anything, so careful.
Unless you don't want them as an ally anymore.
Well, come the day I ever want rid of her, I shall stop winning the arguments. But
See, we're letting you win the arguments.
I tell her this as well, it's infuriating.
my husband won't argue either.
Yeah.
It's not worth it.
If anyone fancies to wrestle around, I'm quite happy to do that. Or if you fancy a staged argument, quite happy to argue about nothing. But if it's serious, I'd rather just concede the point. Because that way, I win. Or we both win. Win-win. Back to this kind of thing. So, the final bit of, that was the kind of last bit of the principles. Bear this in mind, though, win an argument, use an ally, especially when selling. If you're making people do things that they don't want to do, you're going to go cropper. So, actions. How are we doing for time? Massively overrunning. Massively overrunning. So, actions. Firstly, understanding the timeline. This is a timeline. It's quite complex and difficult. Okay? Or technical jargon, man. So, what we've done so far, this bit, all of this kind of structure isn't the whole timeline, it goes there. Because there's things you need to prepare before this bit. Yeah. So, right at the very beginning of the timeline, you start off with a customer value proposal that we did in the first week, remember? What problem do you solve, who for, and how? And you need to start that off right at day one. Then, once you've kind of thought about who for, you need to go into significantly more detail about your ideal customer, not people who I could work with. It's like, everybody, get out. Who do you want to work with? Who puts a smile on your face? Yeah? Your ideal customer. Who gets you and who do you get the most? Then you need to ask ideal customer. Then you need to ask yourself some tough...
Go back one, please.
That.
Thank you.
Then you need to ask yourself these tough questions. Tough questions. Yes, miss. That or that? Which one do you want? That one? That one? Oh, you weren't here for the first week, were there? We was going to hand out that. I know this is one of my favourite graphics. No limits to my talent. So, tough question. There is wallpapering, I'm sure. So, these tough questions. Firstly, you need to quite deliberately step out of your body and step into the mind of your ideal customers and ask yourselves the questions. It's in the handout, by the way. You don't have to write it down. In the handout, I gave you.
Awesomeness.
Yeah.
Neil, you're
Save
up.
you some scribbling time. I know. I've printed some handouts, and you've not even fucking looked at them. Or like relationship friction, all of that kind of stuff. So, what does the problem cost me? Your fix needs to be better value than the problem. Which sounds like a strange sentence, but there's a value you can approach to the value in terms of discomfort and problem and uncomfortability and ball ache and all that kind of stuff that you can attach to a problem. Your solution, your fix to that needs to be better value. Because if it's not, people won't buy it. Then, how sure am I how sure am I this will fix the problem? How convinced are you that it'll work? And what evidence do I need to be sure, right? What risks are there? How can I mitigate them? What alternatives exist? How do they compare? Once you know the answers to these questions, and I was going to make you do that now, but we're running out of time. I would look at the paper and fill in the answers. Okay? Because when you've got a little bit of time and you fill in the answers, this helps create your content in social. Right? Because this is the questions they're asking themselves. I'm giving you gold here. This is amazing. How does he do it? That's right, I am genius. So, once you've got all these kind of these are the questions, and once you kind of answer, it's like, how can I be sure that this will fix my problem? Well, it will do X, and it will do Y, and it will do Z. Then talk about those things it does. Make sure that your product delivers those, and then talk about them. And that's what that's your content generation technique.
Each of those could be a blog title.
Each of those could be, or many.
Yeah.
What risks are there? If you could identify 5 or 6 risks, then you could go
Top 5 risks.
Top 5 risks, and then go into depth. You could go into further depth. You could do like a listicle, and then you could do like further detail on each prop. Okay. And then what alternatives exist? You could just review other people's stuff. Impartially, obviously.
Objectively.
Yeah, seriously. Some of my most well-read blog posts are reviews. People love them. Also, it helps you hijack other people's SEO. So, then, once you've asked, so you've got CVP, ideal customer, tough questions, then positioning. This is as much for you as your clients, but you need to think. You need to position yourself. Okay, so when you're making your offer, when you're making your offer, when you're talking about what you're delivering, you position yourself by talking about your credibility, which is what awards have you won? Downtown in Business Awards winner, Northern Lights, not listening. So have you won any awards? What qualifications do you have? What social, kind of any social proof you can muster? Recommendations, reviews, all that kind of stuff. Lists of your personal success, size and quality of your customer base. I work with X person. If I was working with Richard Branson, I wouldn't be fucking here. I'd be on Mystique with him. But I would have, there would be very different people sitting in the audience if I worked with Richard Branson. Of course, I'd let you lot in because you're nice. But blokes in suits, man. So you have to position yourself because this is why work with me. Yeah. Then you position your audience so that the people you're talking to know you're talking to them. Yeah?
Hang on, before we change.
So when I position my audience, what I do is I talk about that, I tap their pain. And this is what I haven't sorted out about this product yet, about what pain it solves. You show you know what they're thinking, and that you can kind of talk about Huh?
Yes.
Talk about that in a minute.
I think you talk about that.
Yeah. Problem solution, problem solution.
Yeah. Spot that
So
one.
identify the main problem, solve that, and then consider the impact delivery problem, like having the time, and then show them the solution to have the time. And then when you're talking to people, or when you know this, when you've positioned your audience, when you know what pain you're solving, you can talk about just plainly, this is for you if. Yeah? This is for you if you're not sleeping too well at night. This is for you if you're trying to reach schools in the Wigan area selling technological solutions for learning. This is for you if your mobile phone stopped and you're worried about your mobile phone, you're going out. This is for you if you're amazing. Or some such, you know? So you can be really clear, this is for you if, because then go, oh right, okay, I can listen to that. You know, this is for you if your target group. And then people go, oh, so it is for me, so I will listen. Back to not making a tampon advert. And then you position the product. What are they going to get? What transformation do you create? What impact can you manufacture? And what results will they get? You position that. This is the what, not the how. Then the last bit of positioning is the relationship.
Can you go back?
Sorry, man. Okay. Then
Hang on, the product, I think. Sorry. Next.
Okay. Then you position the relationship. If the product is the what, this is the how. You show them how you're going to work together. You tell them it's going to be online video course. It's going to be coaching or mentoring. It's going to be skywritten. It's going to be delivered by rabbits on the backs of vultures. Whatever you tell them, you have to tell them what the relationship's going to be so that they know what they're getting. The less risk, the more you manage their expectation, the more likely they are to buy.
Yeah, I'm thinking from my pharmaceutical business, nobody does this, or very few people have understood this kind of thing.
Of course not.
Because the pharma companies, forget how the pharma companies work, us service people who service the pharma companies. Yeah. There's nobody doing this.
No.
And I've known this for a couple of years, but I had no idea how to go about doing it, but I do now.
Yeah. So all you need to do
I was going to just fail at it and then you know, throw as many things as possible until it worked, but I think we've got a strategy here.
I think the key thing is, if you do a serve business, tell them how you're going to serve them. Yeah? Tell them, this is what it's going to be. You'll get X hours a week. You'll have unlimited telephone troubleshooting. You will have email support. You will have, you know, tell them the nature of the relationship. Because that's what we're buying fundamentally. Yeah. Back to brand. Got that?
Stupid question, sorry. Digital avatar, is there a specific meaning behind that?
Oh, that was a joke. You can't have a relationship with a digital avatar, can you?
Oh, what I was actually
It's
thinking.
It's kind of like that.
You don't know how sad I
I
am.
had them as girlfriends.
No, what I was thinking is that there's a lot of people, like seriously, who would love to be out there digitally, i.e. have their media blog, blah, blah, but don't want to do it themselves.
Right.
I was just wondering if that was the name for that.
A digital avatar is your picture or your representation online. So yeah, you could do, you know, that kind of thing.
It's giving you more credit than you were due for there.
Two meanings. I'm on many levels, man. So you have to show them fundamentally that you're on their side and how. Now, so we've been through the CVP, we've been through the quick questions, we've been through the ideal customer, positioned it, and we're back to this process. Every stage. Hey!
Sorry, I'm like, you start again.
Yeah. Of course, Steve, no problem, mate. Hi, welcome. So at every stage, you want to roll up. The transaction value. What I mean by that is, it costs very little to get involved with social media, right? Anybody know what the cost of social media is?
Time.
Nope. Time happens regardless of me looking at Facebook.
Loss of other opportunities.
Attention. Both. Attention. right? So what you are charging people with your social media is their attention. If I've got my attention on your blog, it's not anywhere else. That's a cost to me. Yeah, we only have a finite amount of attention, right? Now, on the website, that costs a little bit more because I have to act to go to that website, right? That costs me attention plus labour. You see how I've rolled up the transaction cost? Doesn't cost any money at that point, but we've got a more deep interaction. Then from the website to the list, the cost for this is an email address. Now that's a real value. That's changed from just being attention and labour to something that they own that you take from them. Yeah?
That's the first time of trust, isn't it?
It is one of the first times of trust. That's why this is here. Yeah? This is part way between the know and the trust bit, the like and the trust bit. Yeah, I get with it. I'd like some more. I'm going to give you a tiny transaction to see if you pay off. This is why you velvet rope the fuck out of them at that point. You love bomb them. You make sure that they feel like you guys do now, that you're loved and that I value your attention.
Without bombarding them.
Pardon?
Without overwhelming them.
Well, yes, exactly.
So I've just, I signed up for a couple of lists in the last couple of weeks and just like,
Yeah, but it's not about you at that point. What they're doing is they're telling you what they want to tell you rather than consider, what does Sarah want to hear? Yeah? And this is the thing about thinking about it like the velvet rope thing, is that, okay, if you were all on my mailing list, which of course you are, if I start to send you things, I'd be thinking, oh, hang on, what do I think about Sarah? What do I think about, what might they want? Well, just thinking about them all as a group, what did they think about? Oh, what were they talking about? Oh, well, they kind of got the style awareness thing with the how to atomize content. So maybe I'll send them a bit more on that. Maybe I'll send them a bit more on crafting an offer according to personality type. Because that's something I've noticed you guys want, or may want, and then send it to you. Does that make sense? Yeah? So it's not about bombing them with information, it's about bombing them with love. And that's about value, not content. So, once they're here, on your newsletter, you can see how much they're transacting with you, how much they're paying in attention to read your stuff, because if you have a newsletter, you should be using a client so that you can see who's opening and who's not, and you can kind of sort them accordingly. Once they're on your list, you can start making a sale. Okay? What do you reckon? Would it be wise to, the first sale approach you make to them, £2,500 coaching course?
No.
Exactly. No, because it's like, I beg your pardon.
Yeah.
However,
that was exactly the question I was asking about diamond rings.
Mm-hmm.
That was the most expensive offer.
Depends though. It depends on the situation. If you're offering options all at the same time, that's one thing. But if you're rolling up a transaction, yeah, it's a slightly different situation. Yeah. So
is this you making a sale to us by giving us a free course? That's a first.
Not really. I could do. Yes. I could do.
You cynic.
No.
It's
And why not?
Good question, Anne. And why not?
Yeah.
In fact, it could be, but it isn't in this case, because I just wanted to test this. I'm recording it so I can transcribe the video and I can then edit a book without having to type it all.
Well, you do also have free things like a free consultation, a free
Exactly.
a free
And
whatever.
that's around
Because
here.
we want to do exactly the same thing, but on a very big scale.
Yes, exactly. What you have to do is
Tens of thousands of contacts
what you need to do
on
is
the list.
understand your brand, understand the experience, and then scale your brand, which is why I'm really quite adamant and quite keen that you should understand what your brand is first. Because that's what people are buying into. And the brand is the experience.
Neil, what do you mean by scaling the brand?
Let's look at Virgin, right? Virgin have a particular way of doing things.
Yeah.
Okay.
Virgin way.
So, what they're doing, they're scaling the brand by they're building their brand into other things. Okay. So that it started off with record shops.
Mail order, yeah.
Yeah, record shops. And then
Well, online record.
yeah, indeed, record label.
Record label came afterwards.
No, it didn't.
No, it actually started with a magazine.
Yeah.
It started with a magazine when
A
he was
student.
when he was a kid, and he has certain things like the irreverence and the sense of fun and the sense of community. And all he does is he takes that brand and scales it into other things, right? For instance, when they did Virgin Cola, the original bottle was based on the statistics of Pamela Anderson, right? Because that's just their sense of wacky fun, you know what I mean, kind of thing. And then when they do trains, they do trains in a certain way. When they do air, it's all the same way. So all they're doing is they're just taking the brand experience and scaling it into other things. They're not thinking of a new way to do trains or a new way to do aircraft. They're just taking that experience and going, okay, how does that apply to...
You've got their core values that they stick
Yeah,
to.
exactly. And that's the only thing you can scale. The only thing you can scale is the experience you bring.
Because people trust them to do a good job and deliver a good service.
Because they know what to expect, exactly.
How much of Virgin Trains is owned by Virgin?
I have no idea.
Less than 30%.
Which is why I would argue that the experience you get on the trains is less than you get on the aeroplanes, because Virgin's is more owned by Virgin. Are you sure?
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm very surprised by that. So, who owns Virgin Airlines?
Lufthansa have just sold their share of it. I can't remember who they sold it to.
Virgin Atlantic is 49% of it's owned by Singapore Airlines.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. Well, they're better at expressing the brand then.
So exactly,
Yeah.
they've got such a strong brand. Other people are prepared to buy into it with
Well,
their equity.
Branson's involvement in Virgin is tiny,
Yeah.
minuscule. People think that he's there at the head of the table talking about the 300 business Virgin Empire. He's got his hands in a handful. But the
Well,
brand is
he's doing Galactic, basically. That's where his
yeah,
concentration
exactly. The brand is so strong, you just know what to expect.
The same as the EasyJet guy.
Yeah. Oh, it's not Stavros, is it?
Stelios.
Stelios.
is. He's done the same with Easy.
Same as Michael. Same as Michael. What's his face?
O'Leary.
Yeah, from Ryanair. Their brand is so.
Record label came after. I was
It's
right.
rock solid though. You know, rock solid. It's like when.
It's on the Virgin
Remember
website.
There's a marketing advantage in being the most hated brand on the planet.
I've read
And
it
it's
autobiography 3 times.
turning around on him because we should love him, but we actually hate him. And it's actually, they made a loss last year.
Yeah. He has realised that it doesn't work being very
If you it confirms what you say. If you're obnoxious to your customers,
Yeah.
then at some point, as soon as they can, they'll go somewhere else. As soon as they
Well,
can.
that's it. Competitors have caught up and found ways of making it equally as cheap. But it's like he's amazing at the press though. You can't knock his press getting capacity. Like when he was when they were suggesting that they're going to have passengers standing up.
Oh yeah.
Genius. They started that, and it was purely just for like, let's see what they'll report.
They're going to pay to go to the low one.
Well, he cost himself with the iPod, with the MP3s, didn't he?
You what?
Well, basically, he said many years ago, it was an April Fool's, that music's going to be taken out of a little thing. And then Steve Jobs basically went, I could do that.
Yeah. Yes, he could. So, crashing onwards, because time is very short. So you positioned it, you're rolling up the value at every single stage, so that, and once you get here, you start with kind of smaller transactions to start off with, maybe buy a book or something for a couple of quid, roll that up into 10 quid, roll that up into 50 quid, roll that up into... Again, deepening the relationship. The more people like you, it's like one of my heroes, a lady called Naomi Dunford. I've been following her for like 10 years, and my first purchase from her was a load of like free stuff, and then it was like, oh, I don't mind spending a tenner. And then she released a book, and the book was like 35 quid, and I was like, oh, it's quite a bit for a book, isn't it? Ah, fuck it, I know it'll work, it's really good. And then the next bit was like a short course for 60 quid. You know, good, and I know what she's like, and I trust her. So, roll up transaction value. At every single point, this is really important. When you do make a sale,
Don't fry for that. Upscale, yeah.
if you think about your timeline, and you're there, so you've got free products here, cheap, costly, and then full price, okay? And this is kind of like an inverse to, these are people who know you very well, These are people who don't know you particularly well at all. So what you're doing is you're rolling it up. So when you do make them an offer, as well as kind of signing on to your, if this is kind of signing on to your mailing list, what you can do is go, you can join that. Have you thought about buying our £5 this? Yeah? So you're trying to upsell them. And if this is a 10 quid book, have you thought about our short coaching course for £75? If this is a 150 thing, if that's 150 quid, have you thought about our kind of longer coaching course of 500 quid? And then from here, you can sell them ever increasing amounts of value-based products because they know you, right? And that's upselling. Yeah, you've all been to a McDonald's. Would you like fries with that? Do you want a blah blah? Would you like a cake? Smack on your arse, whatever they're trying to tell you. Also, the bit that
McDonald's.
Pardon?
In McDonald's.
She's going now.
Either you've got it or you haven't. As well as upsell, consider a downsell. Okay? I'll cut you a deal. So, it doesn't necessarily apply so much here, but if that is, what was that? That was a 10 quid course, wasn't it? So, as well as that 10 quid course, if you're making the offer for £10 course and they don't want that, they say no, offer them for something for 2 quid. If they say no to the 150, offer them something for 50 quid. If they say no to this, offer them something. Yeah? It doesn't cost you anything. And if they're not, if they don't want to buy the full price thing, and you're going, oh, you don't want to buy it? Okay, great. If money's an option, what about this? Similar, goes on the same line. Does that make sense?
That's what Polo are doing, aren't they? Volkswagen at the moment. They're doing that. They're comparing it to things like the laser eye surgery.
That's yeah, slightly different.
But they're doing that thing of you can have this, or you can have that.
Yes, which is good. And for instance, me buying a new jumper, the competitors for that aren't other jumper makers. It's like a night at the cinema. It's like taking my missus out for a meal. It's like, so you know, it's not, your competitors aren't necessarily in the same sector. They're at the same price point. Yeah. So for me to go, ooh, £2 grand worth of coaching, my competitors and other coaches, it's a holiday with the family. It's maybe a scooter, which I'm looking at buying. Quite fancy a Lambretta. You know.
All the wind mirrors.
Yeah, all that. Big pop. So, and this downselling is the bit that most people forget. Because like upselling, we all get that. We're surrounded by it all the time in the service industries and whatnot. But downselling, you'd be surprised how effective they are. Because people do like to buy, they just don't like to sell. They don't like to be sold. So, your offer, better crack on, so I'm running, is 90% what, 10% how. We've touched on this before. The what is what they're going to get, the how is how you're going to deliver it. The thing about the what is that it's delivered to your future. Right? When I buy something, unless it's a cake or some chips or a pint, then generally we tend not to get it straight away. Yeah? We're buying it in the future. Okay? This is where trust is so important, because trust is a function of time. I trust that you can deliver in the future. So selling people without trust is utterly pointless. Yeah? If you were kind of going into school in a dodgy raincoat, going, buy my computers, mate, they'd be like, no. because they have no trust in your ability to deliver. And this is why this is so important, is that most people kind of start selling here, which is pointless, because people will not buy if they don't trust you. Buy my stuff, buy my stuff, buy my stuff. Remember, wedding dress, first date. Yeah. You can wear a wedding dress to a first date. You look a bit twat. So,
particularly with the bloke.
I'm non-gender specific, so. But when it comes to this bit, when you know somebody, when you like them, when you trust them as a person, wearing a wedding dress here, completely appropriate. If you're into that kind of thing. Dave. So, This is why I trust you brought up the man in the dress thing.
Davina.
You want to come out the closet,
You lost my attention, now I'm drifting off.
Yeah, there's no judgment in this one. So, this is why trust is so important. Oh, I was, just as an aside, I was looking at kind of, looking at delivered to the future, so I googled delivered to the future, and Nottingham Police, they're trying to claim that they're delivering the fucking future. They're policemen.
They were really good actually. They called me on Sunday because my car rolled. They were really good. I just didn't put the handbrake.
But
Nottingham Police.
Yeah, I was there. It rolled a long way.
yeah, exactly. Big fucking hero. Yeah. I just put this in because I just thought it was hilarious. Talk about brand promises. Yeah. So I've just got this picture now of loads of coppers running into the future and dragging it back.
Oh, no, they arrest you now, you don't steal in the future.
Yeah, but that's delivering everybody else's future, not my future. Oh, this ain't the future. Okay. So yeah, just ridiculous brand promise. So your offer, 9% what, 10% how, we've seen that before. Now, this is why it's important, because it's in the future. The reason why it's what and not how is because you use the what to motivate the elephant. From before, you motivate your subconscious with what you're going to get. This is how you're going to benefit. This is what you're going to get, this is how you're going to feel. Elephant does feed. Food, sex, warm, fun. That's what the elephant does.
Oh, that sounds good.
I know, it's great, isn't it? That's the weekend I have planned. So, so that's why you offer 90% what? So you motivate the elephant. So how do you do it? Right. I'll wrap through this as quick as possible. The biggest mistake you can possibly make about thinking how people make decisions is that it's done by the prefrontal cortex. Bullshit. We love to think that we make lovely rational decisions. We don't. We make a decision and then rationalise why we've made the decision. This is fact.
Do I need this bar of chocolate?
No, you go, chocolate.
No, we ate
oh,
it.
well, I did go.
Should I eat it? Should I eat it? You picked it when you...
We make the decision and then rationalise. It's called confabulation, right? Now, biggest mistake, prefrontal cortex, we don't make decisions with that.
with you.
We make decisions with the limbic system, right? Horny, hungry. Yeah, that's what we make decisions, and then we backfill with reason. So if you're trying to convince people by giving them lovely rational arguments, it ain't going to work. You speak directly to the lizard brain, right? Massive. So the solution to this: tell stories, use pictures, and make them feel something. Make sure that your offer is emotive. Yeah. One of the questions you need to ask yourself is why now? Why should I buy
Can you
now?
go back a slide, please? Sorry, I just want to nick this.
What?
You guys are putting it down anyway, so I just did you a favour.
What? That?
I'm just trying to get. There you go.
Okay. Tell stories, use pictures, and make people feel something. The reason why I use pictures is that we process pictures like 1,000 times faster than we read.
60,000.
60,000. A lot. Yeah. I was erring on the side. For once, I wasn't making a massive grand gesture. Busted. So it's 20 trillion times more effective.
You're never going to forget that, are you?
Are you joking? I barely remember my own name most of the time. The reason why there's so many slides is that I have no short-term memory. I was a child of the 80s. So why now? What's important is like to position the story in time as well. Why now? Where have you come from? That's new. It solves a problem. Your solution is the best. That it's responding to change, and that it solves a particular problem. Okay? How trends in the world have opened the window. How trends in the world have opened the opportunity for benefiting the way you do it. New brain science says that coaching does blah blah blah. New advances in fabric technology enable light, waterproof walking kit. Here it is, buy some. Yeah? How it exists in time is important because, sorry, how it exists in time is really important. I'm just really running over.
Just watch the video.
At least I've got to go through this 2 hours
We
again.
don't have a problem that we've all got to rush on.
Okay,
So
cool.
take your time.
Okay. So, once they exist in time, they become part of the world. Yeah? If it exists if it exists in time as part of a narrative, if it exists in part of, you know, time as part of a new scientific discovery, then it's part of the world. It's not just shit in your head. Yeah? If it's a response to external pressure, if it's a technological improvement, then it's real. Yeah? It adds credibility. Having a story that's part of the world adds credibility. It ensures that you'll be taken seriously. Why now? Yeah? iPad have just released a new patch that does blah, blah, blah. This is why we're doing that. You know, that kind of thing. Search technology has enabled us to make sure that your tiny venue will get seen, as well as all of the rest of the stuff with all the millions of hits, right? So, understanding how your narrative fits in time and the rest of the world adds massive credibility. Your offer, structured, right, for target customers who are dissatisfied with how it is at the moment, idea of product is, new idea of product clarity, that provides, and then you talk about your key problem solution, that provides a solution unlike, and this is your differentiation, unlike blah, 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 that our product is key features, benefits, and advantages. This can be applied to pitches as well. This is the kind of crux of your pitch, if you're pitching ideas. In short, this is my offer. Yeah? I'm feeling like paparazzi, that's great.
We do look like a star.
So when you're making an offer, think about it. Once you've done all your background and your research and your CDP and your ideal customer, blah blah blah. This is like the pinnacle of that. It's the cutting edge, the pointy bit that you can get it over really quickly. So that's your offer, and then you need to configure your secret sauce. Does anybody know what their secret sauce is?
Yeah.
Good. Anybody else? My secret sauce is being wildly handsome. It gets me a lot of being wildly handsome. Yeah, see, hearing is yours. So, so your secret
maturity, I think.
So your secret sauce, the reason why it's important is because it's the apparent answer to why should I buy from you? Right? What's special about what you're doing? Why should I buy from you? Not why should I buy coaching or technology or blah blah blah, but why should I buy from you? What's special in you? Yeah? And that your secret sauce, this is why you need to know your secret sauce and you need to be able to talk about it like that. Punk design. Seriously, you need to rock that. You really do. Because there are many bland designers. There are many Swedens of designer. It's alright. It's alright. You know, it's okay.
Can you call it Sweden boring?
Give me some New York design, something angry and a bit funky. Fantastic. So, secret sauce. Your offer describes what they're going to get and how they do business with you. What will you deliver? When will you deliver? How will you deliver? Yeah, this is the relationship. So, how can you increase the impact of your offer? Have you ever wondered why the news is always bad news?
To make you feel like shit.
No, that's just a additional thing.
Because people like negativity.
Like it?
Well, we live off it. It's our default kind of way of being, isn't it?
We're hardwired to notice potential threat. Yeah? Because threats are they have more impact. Right? If let's say swine flu is going to happen and I could get ill, I need to protect against it. However, if things are going quite well, thank you, or it's going to be sunny tomorrow, I don't need really to pay that much attention to it because everything's going to be grand. However, if I think about there's a threat, then I need to prepare something. And this kind of comes from this. You know, back in our Australopithecus days, when we weren't the top of the food chain and we had predators.
That should be a vet. That should be a vet.
Yes, going off beheading lions. So, when the world was, we're hardwired to perceive threats and also many shades of green. We can perceive more shades of green than any other colour. That's true.
You lost me. I didn't know what that was. What you meant there.
Well, no, because we look at the amount of shades of green here, right? Because our environment is green, perceiving changes in that green is really important for our survival, compared to red or blue or anything else. In fact, we haven't been seeing blue for that long, only a couple of thousand years. So, every day's a school day. So, but,
like this
if you read
encyclopedia.
Homer, right? If you read Homer, he talks in the Iliad about the sea being the same colour as wine. So, either in ancient Greece, the sea was red, or humans have changed the way we see colour.
Or the wine was blue.
Or they've just been a big
Wine
battle.
wasn't blue. How can you make blue? It's not. Honestly, we've not been seeing blue as a colour for that long. So,
Well, that's probably mine.
yes, but we haven't been seeing it elsewhere.
Blue nun.
So, okay.
Maybe it's because of the algae, because of the Red Sea, you know?
We're all
Biologists.
hardwired to notice potential threats because of our own safety. So, and this is what we call hot cognition. And we notice potential threats in mysteries. There's a reason why every third show on television is a fucking cop show or a CSI or something with a mystery involved in it, because humans love it, because it shocks our brain and we have to get involved in it to work it out. We love mysteries. So if you can involve mysteries in your, or unknown quantities in your marketing or in your offer, winner. We are absolutely motivated by the scarcity and time running out, things running out, so that this is why if you run products, I would urge you, if you have like a coaching thing, I would urge you to do 2 or 3 intakes a year and launch the intake, even if it's open all the time. Launch the intake one, gives the idea of scarcity, so that people want to get on board before it closes. Yeah? Because if it's just open all the time, yeah, I'll do it tomorrow, I'll do it next week. We are absolutely motivated by time running out. This is why shops have sales, because they create a reduced window where you get more value. Yeah, and we also value what is scarce.
It's DFS sale,
Huh?
isn't it? DFS.
Exactly. It's on all the time.
It's weird.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Always. Yeah, but which one? 2027. So. And we also kind of notice, hardwired to notice what's valuable or scarce. Things like diamonds. Diamonds aren't that scarce. They're made artificially scarce. So as pieces of rock, they're not particularly scarce at all. But what we do is we're given the impression that there aren't that. Think about how many jewelers there are in the world, right? think about how many. It's like 20 in Preston, and they all have diamond fucking rings in them. How rare are diamonds? Not very rare. So, good work. Well done, top of the class. So, thinking as your client, consider whatever product and service you're selling, why am I buying this? What problem does it solve for me? So you're kind of reversing the customer value proposition. Then, important question, how much does this problem cost me? Because if the problem costs me £50 a year, and you're selling me a solution that's £700 a year, I'm never going to buy it. Yeah? And cost doesn't necessarily mean money, it can mean time, effort, or.
But if you think about the demand for them, then they become scarce, because women want so many of them. That
Greedy, aren't you? Just greedy.
No.
That's what
the
it
thing
is.
is that De Beers, the diamond merchants, created the artificial thought of scarcity in the beginning of the 20th century.
The scarcest thing of all is position 1 on Google.
It depends. It depends.
Put my name in, you'll find me at the top.
It depends. It depends how rare your search term is. You can. It's like Dave Gorman did all that Google wax stuff and kind of really weird stuff about Google and being searched for and unusual terms and stuff. You can get ranked at #1 for Google anytime you want. It won't be for the search term like you want to be found for, but you can get #1 on Google anytime you like. So, what's valuable and scarce? If you can create a scarceness, if you can create a time boundness, if you can create a reduction in availability for your stuff, people will see it as more valuable. Yeah? So, how can you build that into your offer? How can you add hot cognition into your offer? Last bit. What happens? I told you I'd have stuffed it with detail this week, didn't I? What happens if they say no? Have you all got a plan for this? Like when you do the selling, have you all got a plan what to do if they say no. So, firstly, if they say no,
Right, sort of.
We've never got to this stage.
it might be a plan. Okay? But firstly, if someone says no to your sale, face to face, get over yourself. Right? The personalisation fallacy is that it's not about you. It isn't. I mean, back to Captain Obvious, he has to make appearances every week. It's not all about you, whatever you may think. When you say no to offers, what makes you say no? Is it because you hate the person making the offer? I fucking hate them people offering you things that I just don't want at the moment for... Why do you say no? If I'm trying to sell you something, you don't want it. Exactly. Doesn't mean you think the person who's offering it is a twat. No. Is it because the thing is rubbish? No. It's just that at that moment in time, you don't want to buy it. Yeah? Not because you hate them, not necessarily because of the money, other reasons. Yeah? When you say no, it's usually because of you, not me. Yeah? You make decisions internally. If I'm trying to sell you something, the reason is to do with you, not me, unless it is to do with me, which is quite rare. So, I'm trying not to open a massive can of worms there. So, other reason. Now, so let's take, for instance, that they have said no. What you do is you take feedback. What didn't you like about it? Was it the wrong colour, size, shape, blah, blah, blah. Take as much feedback as you can and then reconfigure. If they say money, oh, it's too expensive. Obligation closing fuckers. Because I guarantee it's not wrong. What they do is, oh, it's too expensive. What you do with an obligation close is. So, if it was at the price you were looking to pay, would you buy it? And you will never see people back up as quickly as life. Oh, it's about money. So if it was, if it was at the price you wanted, would you buy it? Maybe not. Maybe it's the wrong colour. Maybe, because it's never about money. Never. Largely, people don't buy because they're not really shopping to buy anything. They're just shopping. They're just having a look at what you do, or they're just seeing what freebies they can pull off your website, or they're seeing there just to kind of pick up the ambient stuff, which is great. Get them later. And then give them a thank you gift, even if they say no. If they're on your list and they get partway through your buying process, and then they opt out, and you send them a little bit of feedback, send them a little free gift. White paper you're working on, some a little bit of marketing advice, or a little bit of 10 things authors should do to not be annoying to publishers or something. That kind of thing. Or 10 ways of getting more juice out of your phone, or blah, 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 or something that you can give away, an information product that doesn't cost you anything, you just give them, you go, well, thank you anyway. Because that is a relationship, that's you rolling up the value every time. You're giving them something, you're making them, if you think back to when we did trust, that whole notion of reciprocity, and when you give somebody, they kind of owe you.
Could you downsell?
Yes, you can, at that point, downsell. Yeah, so that's what I was saying here, is that if they say no, just drop them into a downsell. If you don't want that price, maybe you'd like this alternate thing for less money. Bonus tip, FAQs. We all know FAQs? You know it's a selling device?
Yeah. To overcome your objections.
Exactly. Yeah, they're not just random questions that people might think of. What you do is you think of every single objection they could possibly have for buying your stuff. What if it's the wrong colour? How heavy is it? What happens if I don't like it? What happens, blah, 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 blah. You think of every possible objection you can do, and then you just answer them in frequently asked questions. So when they go, oh, I'll find out a little bit more, they're actually talking themselves into a sale. I used to sell insurance on the phone, loved it. And they have a thing called rebuttals, and FAQs. Rebuttals are, oh, I don't want it, it's too expensive. But when you consider it over such and such, it's really cheap, and they are the answers to the objections. Frequently asked questions are rebuttals. They're part of your sales process. Bonus tip. So, if you're making an offer, whenever you send an offer out, send two FAQs out. It'll help you with selling. So, coming to the end of this now, finally. This is the process that I've been talking about all day. It's kind of evolved. This is where we started off. This is where we started off, and this has kind of become a little bit more granular to this. So, thank you. Any questions? Thank you very much for listening.